Okay, we're back.
How the Sony 1000XM4 earbuds match up against these two options. So for starters, let's compare the design and the build. The 1000XM4 and the AirPods Pro have a much smaller overall footprint compared to the Bose Quiet Comfort. The bulky size of the Quiet Comfort case and the earbuds themselves can be tough for a lot of people to look past. As far as the portability, the charging case is going to take up quite a bit of space if you choose to walk around with it in your pocket. One thing to note is that
I hate this shit. The fucking bullshit that you need to have like this Bluetooth's into this box. So like you always need to have this box on you. Like in the winter I don't mind because you have pockets, but in the summer I don't have a coat on, you know. I have 2 pockets in my jean. I have to put this big bulky thing with my keys and my phone, and you know what I mean? You can't put it in the back pocket, you're gonna sit on it. Fucking crush the whole thing, you know? But that I don't like. I wish it was just Bluetooth, this thing, maybe just one of them. I know I get the purpose, like it charges them too, it's useful. But it's bulky.
Around with it in your pocket. One thing to note is that
they all have it. They're all like that.
So no matter which you prefer, you're not making any sacrifices there. The size difference also carries over to the earbuds themselves. The 1000 each earbud. The 1000XM.
I don't know how this holds into your ear.
Hybrid foam ear.
Like this thing here. Like I have the same thing with my earbuds. This does not prevent it from falling off your ear. This tip here. You need to have another technology of support. Like Bose does it well. They have this thing which goes into the crux of your ear inside, just like this is in your ear here, and this goes where the crescent of your ear is, if you want, and it's a good support. It really holds it there. You know, so this holds the whole thing. Maybe he's gonna try it, you can see, but this doesn't hold shit, you know. And every like 15 minutes or so they kind of feel like they're falling out of your ear. I don't know if you can all relate to that, but like especially if you have wired ones, you know what I mean, because they kind of feel like they're falling off. You got to put them back and insert it back. You don't have this problem with this. They stay in because of this support structure.
Ear tips that you get with the Bose.
So, I've tried it, I like it.
Soft silicone along with an ear wing to give you a very secure fit. So when it comes to the differences in specs, there's a few that I think are worth pointing out, and the first one is the
I mean, it's pretty quirky when you see some, you know, person just fit. I don't know, let me show you what the fuck I'm saying. What the fuck am I saying? Quirky girl fits earpiece. Dude, if I hit with this, if I fucking hit with this, come on, show me. Show me you putting your earbuds in your ears. Yeah, so it's like a little quirky, you know. It's like look at me, I'm kind of cute, I'm pushing my air on the side, I'm putting my earbud in. It's got this stylish aspect to it. I'm not sexist, you fuckers. I'm stylistic. So, you know, it's got that, but it's also a pain to always do that, like every 15-20 minutes. Or whereas the Bose earpiece stays, really just stays there. It's very minimalist too. It's so sad that they went away from that for like years and then they just came back with like dual earpiece. Brother, I don't think that's how you wear it. this is a different type because I've never seen a Bose wear like that. What is that? What is that? Goes over the ear. So I don't want anything that goes over the ear like that because I have glasses. My glasses come here. You can't just, you know, put both of them together. Then your glasses are loose on your face because they're supported by this thing, this plastic thing, which doesn't hold glasses there. So this doesn't work. And that's probably why I don't see this model anywhere. It's, no. That doesn't work for me.
Battery life. The Sony 1000XM4 are delivering
videos recorded.
Right again.
With the release of the Sony Sound Quiet Comfort Friendly Soft AirPods Pro earbud and splashes of sized ear move of your ear. The Bose Quiet Comfort offers the most secure fit out of the three due to.
You can see how it comes inside the ear. And it stops here because it's the crux of the
ear wing that actually
ear.
locks the earbud in place.
It doesn't move.
Now, in terms of sound quality, which for a lot of people is the most important aspect, the 1000XM4 is definitely the best out of the three.
Really? Really? Over Bose?
You're getting an amazingly rich sound with an extreme level of detail all the way from the bass to the mids and the highs. The bass is not overwhelming, so if you're into that deep, overly aggressive type bass, you're not really going to get that. It's a much more refined sound with a lot of character, so it really brings your music to life in a way that the other two earbuds do not. It's also easier to tell where different sounds in the mix are coming from, so if sound quality is at the top of your list of priorities, the 1000XM4 is definitely a choice for you. The sound quality on the Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds has grown on me over time, so I would put those at a close second, and then the AirPods Pro.
Oh my god, why are you so sensitive, you stupid mic?
Going into this review, I knew it was going to be extremely hard to top the Bose Quiet Comfort in that regard. It took me quite a while.
Where's the mic?
After some intense back and forth testing, I do think Bose still holds the crown for the most effective noise cancellation. To be fair, the 1000XM4 is literally right there in terms of ANC performance, and telling a difference between the two is really tough. In most cases, it's just going to depend on who's listening and what type of environment they're in. Do the best job at bringing in your surroundings.
Like, I just want to bring one, you know. I wish it was just connected to the phone. Fuck. I'm not asking for much, man.
Now let's go ahead and compare the mic.
We were doing that 6-7 years ago.
XM4 testing 1 2. So this should give you a rough idea as to how you would sound in a quiet environment. 1 2 3. In a quiet environment. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 noise. Testing 1 2 3.
Yeah, Bose is good sound capture.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Between the three earbuds. If you simply want the best sounding earbuds, then the 1000XM4 is the clear choice.
Oh, for sure.
This video helped to outline some of the key differences.
But I like the structure of the Bose. I'm gonna have to buy the fucking things. Am I not?
By U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer.
This is 1 year old news, just by the way.
UFOs. For the first time, radar images recorded inside a Navy ship.
I want to take a look at the images that are coming out.
Around the ship for hours. I-Team reporter George.
Where the fuck these unidentified fucking bullshits are?
Thanks, Brian. Over the past 3 years or so, the public has been able to see several astounding images of what certainly qualify as UFOs during encounters with the U.S. Navy. There's no question that the Pentagon has censored data to go along with the photos and videos, but none of that information has been leaked or otherwise released. That is, until today.
For 2 long hours on the night of July 15, 2019, the crew of the USS Omaha detected on multiple sensor systems unknown objects that surrounded the ship as it moved through ocean waters west of San Diego. One of the objects, a self-illuminated sphere at least 6
We
feet
can't
in
see
diameter,
shit.
flew alongside the Omaha.
Why can't
for an
they have
extended
cameras,
period
man?
And was observed through a thermal sensor in the ship's combat center.
Yeah, but how
Filmmaker
far is
Jeremy
it? Oh my
Corbell
god.
Released the Navy video weeks
Every time it's fucking grainy as fuck, and like It's like they will never have a chance to get a fucking nice image. And if you put the ratio of probability into that, what's the, yeah, how are they always like a fucking 1,000 kilometers away? You know, why can't they be a little closer and you have like a good image of it? You know, probabilities state that it's gotta happen, you know, at some point. Give us some good video, fuck's sake.
And says
Coordinated and
Air crews, including these photos taken off the coast of Virginia and the better-known videos.
It looks like a fucking weather balloon.
You can write a general lat long where we're at. And then the number of contacts you got, get the course and speed meters off them.
over a period of hours, crew members on the USS Omaha, which is located in
We made one just sped up to 46 knots, 50 knots, closing in. Oh, actually 38 knots. Going fast.
That one's pretty much perfectly 000 relative, right?
Yeah.
Corbell obtained the images from sources he declines to identify. The Pentagon's UAP task force considers the Omaha spheres to be true unknowns. The ships that were under observation by the unknowns were unable to track where they came from or where they disappeared to. The Omaha sphere appears to have vanished into the ocean.
What was splashed? Splashed.
At that point, it also somehow
it's not, but everybody
sensor data
you don't know what
used now.
Public by us,
Confusing.
Space Coconut.
Okay.
Everybody's talking about this fucking card. Battle Angels of Tyr.
No.
I mean, it looks good. You know, I have an Ishin deck, and I'll probably play that tonight. Might stream it. We'll see. And Myriad is super good. You know, whenever the creature attacks, you make copies for every opponent, I believe. Or you make a copy for every opponent that you've attacked. What is it again?
No script. I completely forgot that the boulders.
And then you get copies that when they deal combat damage to a player, which is great because you've already attacked. Now you're going to hit. And when you hit, this happens. And you've got copies of it. Okay, great. So when they hit, they all happen. So what does that mean?
Gate, you know? Balders.
First, it means a lot of damage, but then it also means
I forgot the word. Previews started today.
There's an effect. It's the first time a Myriad has an effect on hit, I think.
At each of the cards, not in the same video because some people care about some cards more than others, but so this one we're going to talk about Battle Angels of Tyr. 2 colorless and 2 white for creature.
That's pretty cool. In terms of avatar. Nobody needs to see our dumb face anymore.
Draw a card if that player has more cards in hand than each other player. Then you create a treasure token if that player controls more lands than
I don't know why, like
player.
faces used to be like a thing. People wanted to see like what we look like.
Now,
not anymore. Like,
this one is that it has
like this is already better content by putting my face out. What the fuck?
So
why? What have we done?
2 tokens. You have 1 original and then 2 others to attack the.
Why is there hate?
Players. Then, if any of those.
Brother, I can read. So when this thing deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. If that player has more cards in hands than each other player, then create a treasure. If that player controls more lands than each other player, then you gain 3 life if that player has more life than each other player. Which means this thing will hit everyone, will trigger. Does it trigger twice if there's 2 of them attacking the same player? Seems like it. No, they go on the stack, different, like one after the other, even if you attack with 2 of those on the same player. And then as it resolves, it says, does this guy have more card than you? Oh, then everyone. Then draw a card. And then if that guy still has more cards than you, or than everyone, then you draw another card. Sure. But like, you know, every player can have a chance of having either more cards, more lands, or more life than everyone else. And if that is the case, then you get a card, you get a ramp, and you get some life. Which, you know, I think it's good, but like, there's also a chance that you have more cards, more lands, or more life. If that's the case, you're not gaining life. If you have more cards, you're not drawing cards. If you have more lands, you're not ramping. So he's there. He will not help you if you're already good in that sphere. You know what I mean? But say you need help with drawing cards, having lands, ramp, or having life because people can attack you in your deck a lot, then yes, it will be good. Okay, so that is conditional, and I feel like people don't notice that as much. They buy cards at an insane price thinking, I'm gonna draw cards, get lands, get life, and oh my god, I'm doing everything. But the truth is, you might be doing half of that, you know, most of the time. If you're lucky, maybe a third of it most of the time, you know, more than you think. You will hit people for 4 damage, you know, which is okay.
Their name Giada. The new says, here's the it's gonna get you say one.
So like I'm not interested in
those angels,
you know, buying a card for like $20 that just comes, that hasn't even come out yet, haven't even been tested, you know. And just when people realize that it's an okay card and it's worth like $12 or $8, or I would buy some Ishins if they are what, $1 each.
Myriad is going to trigger twice, so your other opponents are going to end up with 2 angels coming at them, because Myriad says whenever this creature attacks, for each opponent other than defending a player, you may create a token that's a copy of this creature. That's
there it says it. Whenever it attacks for each opponent other than defending player, you may create a token that's a copy. Right. So of course, because you know, you'll make 2 more, and with Ishin you'll make, so you'll make 2 more. You have 2 opponents, and with Ishin you'll make 4 more. So with Ishin, the ones you don't attack actually end up getting hit more with Myriad.
Tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. If 1 or more tokens are created this way, exile the tokens at the end of combat. Ishin says, if a creature attacking would cause a triggered ability of a
Ishin, are they $1?
Ability triggers an addition.
They're less than that. They're 30 cents.
So your poor opponents are gonna get pretty slaughtered depending on.
I bought this for $10. I bought this guy for $10. It's $2 now. That's cool.
Massive, really
I'm interested.
quickly, especially since you're going to be.
I think he's
conniving
insane.
and
He's a
tokens
great
in the game,
commander.
making it a 5/5 flyer the first time it attacks. I really like this.
I would totally buy 5 for $2. Foil, full art.
Tokens
I like the
will
other art
have,
better though.
Vigilance and lifelink at the same
This
time,
one.
so you'll be gaining at least
More
8
light.
life if you still have all of your opponents.
You can see it better.
This is
really
value,
like
since
dark. You can't
do
really
much with
make
it
up.
other than just attack. But I mean, still a 4.
Like the image here is a perfect print, but once you get the cards, they're not necessarily perfect print. They're a little darker sometimes. It's a little too dark. This is much better. And that's why the price is, you know, $7 compared to 2.
4 flyer in the air that makes tokens. And
But this card I think is going for $50 right now. This is madness. People need to stop. This needs to stop. Battle Angels. I don't know who still buys cards before they come out for $50. You always get hosed. Always get hosed. Look at this. Stop the madness. $100 foil. And it's probably going to be worth, if I give it a, you know, a shot, I would say 25, if even, you know, just $25 maybe. You know, how to lose your money. To lose your money.
Decent amount of value out of that. You get card draw and ramp, and then life is kind of inconsequential. 3 life isn't that big of a deal in Commander, but this looks really good, and I'm really excited about this card in particular. It was the first one I wanted to talk about, mainly because of Camise, but yeah, Tesa could use it as well. Now that I think about it, in a Giada deck, those 2 angels are going to come in with at least out.
No, it's going to be a cool angel for Giada for sure. Gonna be awesome in an angel deck. Can't see anything.
damage, turning every single game into a 15,000-foot tightrope walk.
Lurus.
You're always on the edge of dying, and if you want to win a lot of
Lurus.
games, you have to put yourself on that tightrope.
He looks so good.
To me, Death Shadow is magic on the hardest difficulty, but to Soul Strong, Death Shadow is like Game Genie. Or
I used to play Death Shadow.
The combination of Death Shadow, Thoughtseize, Inquisition of Kozilek, efficient removal, and efficient
Lightning Bolt,
has
Fatal
always
Push.
been an effective modern strategy, but thanks
It's
to
so good.
newcomers Ragavan and Dragon's Rage Channeler, the deck no longer needed to lean all the way into dealing 15 damage to itself. First is your companion, say, 3-man, putting 3 mana permanents back on the menu in the process. Playing. By the time March rolled around, Wizards of the Coast recognized this and banned Lurrus of the Dream Den.
Lurrus of the Dream Den. So, Lurrus, lifelink 3/2 for 3, hybrid mana, that's really cool. During each of your turn, you may cast a permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. So basically, he takes your graveyard and you can take a look at it, and any permanent costing 2 or less in any efficient modern or legacy deck, you just get to play it again. It could be mana rock, it could be a ramp spell, it could be a creature, it could be a lot of things.
Putting 3 mana permanents back on the menu in the process.
Anything that gets destroyed, you play Ludus and just bring it back.
April, there have been 13 Magic Online challenges, 3 modern PTQs, 2 SCG cons, and the Hunter Burton Memorial. This is a chart of each modern deck archetype that has appeared in more than 5 instances across all of those top 8s, and how they've finished every time they've gotten to the promised land. It's right there on the screen, but I'll call it out. Green indicates a first place finish, so green is good. The decks with the highest representation should have more top finishes, but surprisingly, they don't. The performance of the Yori Index is most surprising of all. In 24 appearances in top 8s, the decks notched only 1 win. That lone win comes from the Elementals variant in the March 19th Magic Online Challenge. I grouped the 2 decks together because there are lots of little optimizations you can make to an 80-card deck, but at the end of the day, both variants are still just stabilizing behind an Omnath. Blue-Red Murktide doesn't fare much better, complementing Foot. Sadly, she's crushing Modern League, such a stress from the original Innistrad. Winning, I recommend Before I Go. Like the best modern deck that I missed.
Anyway,
Dogmoth,
the story is Lurrus ban is good for formats, but it's not banned in Commander. Thinking about my Ishin deck, I want to find a way to bring back stuff from the graveyard.
External TCs. Everyone builds them, but I'm not sure everyone knows how they
You guys know Rust?
Actually work. And it might mean that your base is a lot weaker than you thought it was. Well, at least technically. Here, let me explain. I believe most of you would expect that these external TCs would extend a building exclusion zone around your main base, an anti-griefing bubble.
Right, so people put TCs outside their base so nobody can put their own TC here and build next to your base. You can expand your base without fearing neighbors are taking up that space. You know?
Bubble, if you will.
But he's going to tell us how to, I don't know, find a vulnerability to external TCs.
Preventing raiders who have destroyed the main TC from griefing and taking over the whole base. And yeah, that's how it works, but it's not as simple as that. And as a builder, this is something I think you should know. Look here, this is the...
Oh, that's cool. So, I mean, I'm not that good at Rust. So when you put TCs outside like that are close enough, even if they destroy the main one, they can't put their own inside to occupy your place. Make it their own, I mean, effectively. Because of the external.
The very common H-June 2x2 footprint, fully wall stacked, 4 external TCs. In Raid, the raiders will destroy the main TC for sure, but they won't be able to place one or grief the base due to the external TCs. So far so good, but now it's enough for...
Sorry guys, I'm just
TCs.
fucking up.
So far so good, but now it's enough for them to take just one of the externals for full control of the base. Yeah, you heard right, just one. Here, a demonstration. You can see that while I do have authorization on this external, I have no authorization on any of the others.
Is this sketch already or what?
And yet, I have full and total control over this base insofar as it comes to griefing it and opening windowed loot rooms for free.
We have a professional opinion on
That
this.
TC over there, I'm not authed on it, but I can build right up to it as though it isn't even there. You see, there's only one TC that works, and it's specifically this one. And why is that? Well, it came first. The first external TC you build will be the only one that works. But it's not even the TC itself. See, I can destroy all these TCs, then replace them with this one being the last, and it'll still be the only one that works. See, in Rust, it's not just the TC that counts. It's actually the building tiles themselves extending the building privilege zone through the TC. And since these are the first external tiles I built, they take over, actually giving their TC control over the base. So to summarize, no matter how many external TCs you build, only the first one matters. If raiders take it over, they have full control over the base. So here's some advice. Keep an eye on the neighbors and find which external TC they build first. Taking it over when you raid them means you'll be able to grief and evict them. But much better than that, windowed loot rooms and bunkers that would have normally cost you many rockets are now yours for free.
You can just fucking take out the window like that.
Not to mention the turrets, the workbenches, the batteries.
Because he hasn't got into the base. He just took out the external TC and now he fucking can do anything he wants. Which is
most external TCs are 4 to 8 rockets. Extremely worth it. Knowledge is power.
All for 4 to 8 extra rockets.
I hope you learned something new about how the Rust building system works, esoteric as it may be. And if you did, give me a like, which I'll cherish for all eternity. If you didn't, well, maybe one of my other videos will be more instructive.
I guess that's the best way to get a like,
cool
man.
Tips and tricks for you to check out. And with that, I bid you farewell.
Farewell indeed.
Please come home. Please come home, Baba. I am so sorry. Actually, you didn't say Baba, you said baby. Apologies.
Baba.
Go on. Did I read those correctly?
That is correct. That was another time I'm trying to stop another twist off.
This is what would happen when Mr. Depp would try to take some space from you, right?
No, this is what would happen when Johnny had moved into the next phase of the cycle, decided to use, and our
Ms.
lives
Heard,
were getting a lot worse at that
Ms.
point.
Heard, I'm talking about your actions. This is what you would do to Mr. Depp when he would leave you.
Again, the way she looks at the fucking, what are they called? Not the witness, but the board or whatever the fuck. What is it called? The jury. Right? It reminds me of Grosgroyd.
I would
Isn't
try
that
to...
correct? You
I
would
would try-
arraign him.
Your Honor, at least let her answer the question. Please don't interrupt.
That's fine. Go ahead, answer the question. I do not think I would characterize my behavior that way. I was trying to stop him from using.
You were texting him incessantly. Isn't that correct, Ms. Heard?
It was imperative for my life.
Ms.
It
Heard,
was very
my
important
question is
to me.
much more simple. You were texting him incessantly.
I would
Yes
try
or no?
everything to
Ms.
get a hold
Heard?
of him and
So
to
that's a
stop the
yes.
cycle.
That's a yes, right?
I would try everything to stop the cycle. It was that important to me.
And he's the monster for not responding to you.
That's not what made him the monster.
For
No.
needing space from you.
The monster was not the guy who needed space. The
Not
monster
for
was who
doing
he
drugs.
was when he came back.
Not for doing drugs, Ms. Heard. Not for being violent. Just for needing space. That's when you called Mr. Depp the monster.
Incorrect.
Okay, I'm just trying to see something.
And you don't have any medical records reflecting that you required any reconstructive work, do you?
I never required reconstructive work.
Watch Grosskreutz. Grosskreutz. Do you even know how to write Grosskreutz?
individual in a gas formation or form who was affected by the pepper spray. So immediately following that, I started treating this person.
Didn't work well for him.
And then
look at the jury, dude.
I was assessing the situation.
Like, he's not pleading for fucking anything. He's not the one in court for anything.
Primarily,
you know,
treating people.
Maybe unlike Amber, which I can understand, but the fuck is
Grosskreutz to other people how to
doing watching the talking to the jury, you know? What are you pleading for? You're a fucking witness.
That you were delegating responsibility to?
No, I don't know if he went to court for his own thing or what. And he will be prosecuted by the same prosecutor, this unicorn guy.
This is the proper way to do it, you know, whether or not.
It was a good series, I gotta say that.
Here is the big controversial.
I don't know why I'm into baseballs these days. I'm just watching baseball supercuts.
Springer puts that fastball to right for the second out. Throws coming home. Calhoun's got a big arm.
I like baseball.
Explosion.
Oh my god.
You do not see that in baseball anymore. You're not supposed to. They made rules because it was never really in line with what the sport is about. Baseball anymore. Explosion. Bam. Throws coming home. Throws coming home. Throws coming home. Calhoun.
So what did he do wrong?
Who's got a big?
Well, he fucking threw himself into him. What did he want to do? Put his hand under his fucking crotch and touch the base? Did he fall?
Calhoun's got a big.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Is that so fast, dude? I think he fell. It was like too fast. You know what I mean? Like when you go too fast, you just fall.
He's got a big.
I feel like that's what it was.
Calhoun's got a big arm.
It's hard to see.
Arm. Bam. Explosion. You do not see that.
Dude, the hat fucking here. It's like if the hat would be like over there.
In baseball anymore, you're not supposed to. They made rules because it was never really in line with what the sport is about. Collisions kind of were this weird macho thing. The trainer is just ragdolling Lucroy, trying to find a spot.
Oh, he looks like he wants to get up. He looks confused.
Can't seem to figure it out. Finally, they get him on his side, and
his motor reflexes are not exact. He looks confused.
And they're like, "All right, cool, that's good." But pretty sad scene, pretty wild scene. Knocked him out pretty good. Marisnik's shooken up. He doesn't know what to do. Doesn't really know just what just happened. Takes a knee there. Hinches by his side. Yuli's like, man, Espad's like, holy shit. I remember when this was normal, but this is not normal anymore. Marisnik's saying, I thought he was going to the other side. More on that later. He finally gets up. Lucroy gets in the cart. Marisnik's clapping for him. He doesn't know what to do. He wants to go talk to him, but knows he's probably
bleeding
his brain right now. His elbow's scraped up. He goes over, gives him some pats. Lucroy doesn't even notice. Walks away. Lucroy's getting carted away. His nose is all banged up. The back of his head is banged up. Says, I made the out, though, right? And they're like, oh, I don't know yet, man. We have to figure that out. Here's what Marisnik tweeted. Through my eyes.
Oh, okay, whatever. We got a great narrator.
As I thought the play was going to end up on the outside of the plate.
Okay, so it might, like he said, maybe he's going to the right. I made a full
I made a split-second decision at full speed to slide head first on the inside part of the plate. That decision.
Inside part. So he went inside as he was on the left. He went in, I suppose.
Got another player hurt, and I feel awful. I hope nothing for the best.
It's the runner who's coming up. So he thought the play would be outside, and he went inside, and this was already left, and he went inside and collide.
For Lucroy. So without collisions now, a lot of times the catcher
he never saw it coming.
Immediately drops to his left to place the tag because the run.
So he had all the leeway he needed. You know what I mean?
Runners go over there to avoid
it happens
and make like a fun slide.
Like he's literally fucking a meter from here when he catches. You know, this guy's eyes are focused on the ball coming in.
Marisnik thought that was going to be the case, so he tried to get cheeky. Does this little stutter step and drops to the other side, but Luke.
That's a fall. He's falling here.
A lot of people think it's intentional.
No control.
He says it's not. Their heads collide. Imagine if Lucroy wore the hockey helmet style masks. He would have taken that off fully, would have had no protection. So good job.
Touch the base because that's his job. His job is to touch the base. He's paid a lot of money to do that, so no ill feeling about that. That's what he has to do. And after that, they realize like where the ball is, and he was officially out because the guy had the ball when he fucking ran into him, so it was a bad play on his part.
Old school mask makes more sense. Mariznik goes over, he feels bad, feels terrible right away. They eventually ruled him
What
out.
is this guy doing? Reload.
Here is the big cheek. I'd imagine if Lucroy would have taken that off fully, would have had no protection.
Oh no.
So good job wearing the old school mask makes more sense. Mariznik goes over, he feels bad, feels terrible right away. They eventually ruled him out, and the game stayed tied. I don't know. Definitely got blowed up. Hope Lucroy's all right.
Well, what the fuck is this? This is in Russian?
Если вообще рассказать полностью, то 18
Russian or Ukrainian?
я подписал альтернативный контракт.
He does the English subtitles on his channel. This guy, if you, I don't know, I know you know you don't know, I know you don't know you know, but this is an amazing channel. The guy he talks to fucking people, Russians that they captured in Ukraine, dude.
Вы даете добровольное согласие на этот разговор, на его запись и на его последующую публикацию?
Да.
Вы добровольно сейчас со мной общаетесь?
Да.
Представьте.
So he's just
Здесь, пожалуйста, полностью как вас зовут.
an interviewer. He's just a YouTuber, okay?
Александр Васильевич, майор.
Then he fucking somehow gets into a place where all these Russians are captive, and he just talks to them and asks them, what's going on? What are you doing here? What do you think?
Где вы учились?
What do you think that makes sense? Are they telling you the truth? What do you think the truth is now? Or, you know, are we bad people in the Ukraine? Are you bad people for coming here? You know?
Субботина Валентина Серафимовна.
Ну.
Как бы с ними не поддерживаю контакты.
Это не важно. Я задаю эти вопросы, потому что из России пишут, что вы это фейк, вы актер из ЗСУ, вы не настоящий человек, вы не из России. Поэтому мы пытаемся дать какие-то ваши установочные данные для того, чтобы ваши же люди, до них дошло, где вы, и что вы реальный человек из России.
Вот, в кадетском корпусе были, учились со мной, ну это уже 10-11 класс получается.
You can get information from any source you want in this fucking world. And I feel like this is top info. We're at the very edge of war. A Ukrainian is having a conversation with a Russian. And you can't get any better than that, I think, in terms of information of what's going on in these fuckers' minds, you know?
Учился с Забировым, Тужик.
Ну, девушка, наверное, какая-то вам нравилась. Как звали ее? Ладно, окей.
Лена.
Лена.
Да.
А фамилия у Лены? Не помните, да? Лена была Лена. Хорошо. В принципе, человек вы известный, я думаю, что вас узнают. Да?
Да.
Расскажите, пожалуйста, про свой военный путь. Где начинали? Вот здесь опять с учебы, да, и...
Закончил в 2008-м Краснодарское высшее военно-авиационное училище летчиков. Вот, после этого попал в ГТ-Джеда, Бурятия.
Я прошу прощения, а что вы такой напряженный?
Да.
Ну, впечатление, что вам как-то тяжело говорить. Вы расслабьтесь, потому что вы же прекрасно понимаете, что это интервью.
Да.
Это не допрос. То есть вы говорите добровольно, как вы только что сказали. Пожалуйста, свободнее.
После выпуска попал в ПГТ-Джеда, Бурятия на должность старшего летчика. Вот. В 2010 году в связи с реформацией часть была переведена в город Челябинск. Вот. Там же, ну, полным составом, там же проходил должность на должность старшего летчика. В 2017 году был назначен на должность командира авиационного звена. Вот. И в 2021 году, в сентябре, был назначен на должность начальника воздушно-огневой тактической подготовки, старший летчик войсковой части, что куда-то упали, а именно что.
I just want to get to somewhere where you can get the feel for it.
В обзорной части у летчика видно крупные буквы «Дети». Вам найти эту фотографию?
Ну, как бы я верю, что это в обзорной части.
These are direct questions. They put the word kids on top of schools or theaters in big ass fucking letters so that they don't bomb the fucking place and they end up doing it anyways. And he's asking, why can't you see those big letters in your observation equipment when you fly over it? You just ask him that, right?
Части, ну, как
Я
команда.
говорю в обзорной части, потому что я гражданский человек, я не понимаю.
Я понял вас, это доводит только координаты. Вот, ну, если хорошие погодные условия, то есть, ну,
Хорошие погодные условия. В человеческий рост буквы по буквам «Дети».
Возможно это увидеть.
Возможно.
Да.
Я понял. Ну, давайте теперь вашу историю по вашим вылетам над Украиной, и что и когда это началось.
Первый вылет я выполнил 28 числа.
Не, давайте не так. Когда вам довели про начало спецоперации?
Ну, скорее всего, как и всем, 24 числа было доведено, после чего, ну, начали готовиться. Ну, там разбирать ПВО, какое есть, ну, какие трудности могут для выполнения, ну, именно с ПВО связанные быть. Вот. Первый вылет, ну, наша группировка выполнила 28 числа.
Откуда и куда?
Выполняли с аэродрома Сеща, Брянская область. Вот.
Еще раз.
Сеща, Брянская область. Вот. Первый вылет выполнял в район, в Киевскую область, где-то в район аэропорта. Вот, по координатам работали ночью уже, то есть где-то, ну, после того, как стемнело, то есть, наверное, по московски где-то часов 7-8, ну, 9 было времени.
Сколько еще с вами летчиков других вылетело из аэропорта Сеща Брянской области?
Именно 28-го? Или...
Можно 28-го, а вообще мне интересно, сколько их там летает.
Всего 10 самолетов было и, ну, 10 экипажей, ну, плюс командование.
Это именно из этого аэродрома, правильно?
Да.
А в общем и в целом по Российской Федерации вот общую примерную сумму можете назвать? Сколько?
Нет, примерную сумму не могу, но как бы подразумевал, что все аэродромы, которые, ну, ближайшие там границы находятся, на них, ну, с авиацией.
Каким самолетом вы управляли?
Су-34.
Сколько Су-34 на вооружении российской армии?
С 2006 года, если не ошибаюсь.
Нет, я говорю, сколько их пока?
Ну, в районе 100.
В районе 100. А какие еще самолеты используются?
Су-30, Су-35, сколько я знаю.
МиГи?
Ну, МиГ-29 не могу сказать, что используются они.
Ну, сколько их в общей сложности? Нам просто людям надо понимать, сколько еще надо сбить, чтобы нас перестали бомбить.
МиГов, насколько я знаю, там их очень мало осталось, только в Астрахани полк на МиГах, и то там уже старые, как бы.
Ну ладно, хорошо, МиГи оставим.
В основном Су. Ну,
сколько воинской части у вас было суши?
У нас 24.
Сколько из них исправных?
Ну, в районе, наверное, я думаю, 15 где-то.
Остальные что с ними?
Ну, вышли по регламенту работы, блоки, которые отправляются там на завод для, ну, ремонта. Вот, потом как бы приходят блоки, и они боеготовы, самолеты становятся.
К 28 числу сколько было уничтожено ваших самолетов? Части?
К 28 числу не было, вот именно после вот этого вылета был один сбит самолет. Вот, один, получается, сбили самолет 28 числа. Да.
Или перед вами еще был?
Нет, ну вот там мы 5 экипажей примерно выполняли вылет. Вот одного сбили.
Так сколько сушек примерно по России?
Ну,
всего? Всех?
Примерно где-то 100. Точно не скажу.
Нет, вы сказали 100, это с одной там цифрой какой-то.
Не, ну это всего.
Это всего всех Су, 100 штук, да?
Нет, это Су-34, я имею в виду.
Да, а других Су?
Про другие не могу сказать, Су-30-х, Су-35-х сколько.
И меньше, больше?
Так, ну или так же, или побольше.
И тех еще по 100 штук, да? То есть всего может быть 300 самолетов, да, на вооружении стоит?
Ну, возможно, точно цифру не скажу.
Не интересовались. Хорошо.
В Википедии сказано, что у вас около 500 самолетов разных моделей, разных марок. Это соответствует плюс-минус действительно?
Ну, я думаю, да, возможно.
Сколько из них рабочих? Ну, вот вы знаешь, зная ситуацию в ваших вооруженных силах, сколько из них рабочих?
Ну, вот на тот момент, пока меня сбили, я думаю, 70% было боеготовы, как бы, ну, уже прям сразу, а остальные, ну, как говорил, уже требовались каких-то там ремонтов, и, в принципе, потом тоже могли быть боеготовыми.
Что означает буквочка ЗВО? Вот эти
не знаю, тоже нам не доводили. Доводили, что будет наша техника отмечена вот этими буквами, а что они означают, нам не доводили.
Грузовик вермахта, 40-й год, ничего не напоминает? Ну, вот буквочка, ничего не напоминает?
Ну да, буквы В.
Они тоже, наверное, не знали, что они означают. Окей. Это называют новой свастикой уже в мире, если что. Знаете об этом?
Нет еще.
Ну, вот эти ваши буквы. Хорошо, да. Ну вот, собственно говоря, ваш вылет. И что дальше?
28-го выполнили вылет, прилетели на аэродром. Ну, в процессе полета, получается, одного экипажа уже не дозвались по прилету. Определили, что он был сбит. Вот. Командование с ним связалось там, по сотовым, по...
Я же спрашивал, был сбит другой самолет перед вами еще или нет? Вы говорите нет, сейчас вы говорите.
28 числа же, я говорю, был сбит самолет.
Но это был не ваш самолет, не другой самолет.
Да,
я понял,
да,
хорошо.
28. Вот. Его сбили, вот, и в итоге экипаж эвакуировали. Вот. Экипаж мы не видели, его сразу в госпиталь отправили. Вот. Потом дальше продолжать?
Да, конечно.
Вот. Второй вылет у меня был 4 числа в районе.
Чего вы за первый вылет не рассказали? Что вы, сколько вы скинули снарядов, куда вы?
6 ОВЗАП 500. Ну, работали также по координатам. Вот, знал, что где-то в Киевской области, в районе аэродрома. Вот, что именно, не знал.
Вот. Я хотел уточнить. Вы офицер высшего, вы офицер. У вас забрали телефон?
Телефон не забирали, но в том как бы месте, где мы находились, они были запрещены для использования.
Я не про это. Я думаю, что вы знаете, что такое Google карты.
Да.
Я думаю, вы
конечно.
знаете, как пользоваться координатами. И вы хотите сказать, что вы не знали, куда вы сбрасывали, что?
Нет, ну я уже объяснял до этого, что дается время на подготовку, то есть имеется карта у каждого экипажа. Вот, и уже экипаж, дается время, там немного времени для подготовки, то есть посмотреть маршрут полета, вот, посчитать по топливу, хватит ли для выполнения задания. Вот, и как бы примерно по карте смотришь, куда летишь. Именно по телефону не смотрели.
Ну, я еще раз говорю, это просто информации, которая идет, зритель тоже может сам себе как-то это все понимать, анализировать, да. То есть не будем сильно очень прямо углубляться. Хорошо, далее, 28 число, еще раз. Что дальше было? Вы узнали, что сбит самолет?
Да, сбит. Ну, уже было поздно. Нас, кто выполнял вылет, отправили отдыхать. Вот. Отправили отдыхать. С утра мы уже нам довели, что экипаж был спасен, вывезен. Все, как бы. Вот. Потом ставили задачи, как бы выполнялись полеты, но я до 4 числа не выполнял полетов. Вот. Ну, задачи были, но они почему-то там сейчас принесут цели, потом отбивались, то есть ну, ничего не доходило до реальной работы. Вот, второй вылет я выполнил 4 числа.
А до 4 числа вы сбивались, какие-то ваши самолеты, что-то происходило?
Нет, не было сбито.
Ничего
не было. Да.
Я понял. Ну вот ваш вылет 4 числа далее.
4 числа поставили также задачу. По карте это было южнее населенного пункта Чернигов, дорога была. Вот, 8 зарядка 250, АФАП 250-270.
Вот. Можно подробнее про вот эти вот цифры?
Осколочно-фугасная бомба. Авиационная бомба. Осколочно-фугасная авиационная бомба.
Угу. Какой радиус поражения у нее?
Ну, примерно километр-полтора.
Километр-полтора. В километре полтора ничего живого не должно остаться, да, после сбрасывания?
Ну, как бы доводили, что там скопление вооружений военной техники. Вот. Ну, дорога за городом была.
Тут вы знаете, что это была дорога за городом?
Ну, на карте была как бы дорога отмечена по координатам.
Угу. И что вы по этой дороге сбросили эти снаряды?
Да.
Все, и вернулись обратно?
Да, вернулся обратно.
Угу. По колонне, получается, вы ехали? Почему?
Ну, характеристика цели была, что скопление вооружений военной техники именно не знаю, что там было.
Ну, хорошо. И дальше?
Ну, выполнил полет, вернулся на базу.
Вы пиарились на том вопросе, что вот они кого-то там притесняют. Хотя по факту это единичные случаи. Как вы считаете, из этих единичных случаев нужно было бомбить города украинские?
Нет.
А по логике, если единичные случаи так сильно мешали там вашему командованию, что нужно было сделать?
Ну, и взять.
What surprises me the most is their change of heart.
Переговоры и этих людей.
You know, when they're over there in Ukraine, and they're like, no, it wasn't worth it, you know, doing all of this.
Тех, кого притесняют, да? Надо было вывести в Россию.
I think that's what surprised me at first.
Так никто никому не показал, да, я так понимаю?
I wasn't, I don't know.
Уже когда я увидел.
I don't know if surprised the right word.
Во-первых,
but it kind of shows the population's, you know, thoughts. And they're so disconnected from whatever the fuck is going on, like federal level.
Я ожидал, что, ну, как бы, по-моему...
Я имею в виду, что вам... Вы офицер, просто с вами можно чуть подробнее об этом поговорить. Более того, все знают, что вы это вы, ну, если там уже не совсем полностью отбитые. Вот вам показывали все время там факельные какие-то шествия там в Киеве, да, вот эти вот марши, да, вот это же рассказывали вам, что вот это вот как раз вот... Это кто, нацисты или националисты? Я просто, как вам об этом рассказываю?
Националисты, по-моему.
Националисты, да. А скажите, пожалуйста, а вот националисты, они в разных странах есть в мире?
Да.
Есть такие, да, ультраправые, да, в разных странах. В России они есть?
Ну да, получается.
Показать вам фотографии из России с аналогичных маршей? Хотите увидеть?
Да.
Хорошо. Останови на секунду. Поехали, смотрите. Я сразу говорю, ребятушки, я монтировать ничего не буду, в телеграм-канал ко мне заходите, посмотрите все эти фоточки. Ну, это вроде как просто какие-то красные флажки, да, и тут вроде как церковь, то есть ничего там.
You can still read if you want. But this guy in particular, and I mean, the reason why it's so, like, popular, his videos, not only is the fucking situations I think that he's fucking in, I don't think anybody else is doing something he's doing. But he's also, I think he's also very comical in just the way he's fucking putting it out sometimes. And the fact that he's very, you listen to his questions, it's, you know, one question at a time. Do you think, you know, what were you shown? And do you think that this also happens in other countries? And is that a good reason to attack Ukraine? And it just brings you step by step, like Plato, or Socrates, I should say, does, right? And that, I think, as a very basic level of communication, makes it so that he's very interesting to listen to, and his interviews are really interesting to listen to, because it brings the other party with this type of communication step by step into witnessing the obvious, you know, and just expressing it, if you want. Makes for strong discussions. Socrates used to speak with other speakers who spoke about, you know, money and love and, you know, war and the goals and blah blah back in the days, you know, 2,500 years ago, and confronted their ideas with the step-by-step process, which is very well integrated in our civilization nowadays. There's reasons for that. You know, we come from somewhere.
Да. Да. Но почему-то ваше телевидение возвело это все в такой культ, постоянно акцентировало именно на этом внимание. Хотя этот марш у нас с факелами, там 50-100 человек бывает пройдет. У нас демократическая страна. Почему мы должны им запрещать это, по вашему мнению?
Ну, государство не должно запрещать.
You have to face reality.
Это у вас человека с пустым плакатом задерживают. У нас такого не делают, мы по-другому живем. Мы так, как вы, не хотим жить. Понимаете? Окей, хорошо. В общем, вы тогда думали, что вы едете освобождать Украину от каких-то нацистов и националистов. Ну, между ними есть разница вообще, знаете?
You can see that freeing them from Nazis and nationalists and whatever was really widespread belief in the ground forces. That's really what they thought they were coming here for.
От нацистов.
Wasn't just a federal idea that's been pushed worldwide as a possibility of them being on the ground and not understanding what's going on. It was their reality.
А нацисты это кто в Украине такие должны были быть?
Too precise.
Подвижники, как бы, ну...
Третьего рейха?
Да.
He's like, what the fuck?
Нет, не видно.
Я понял. Окей. Ваши цели на тот момент, ваше отношение на тот момент было понятно. На этот момент что?
На этот момент, когда сбили, ну, уже много про это думал, потому что уже сколько дней прошло. Во-первых,
that also is a popular idea.
После этого думал, как, ну, или в плен возьмут, что разорвут это. Ну, никто не дал разорвать, все, как бы, эти люди.
Popular belief, I guess, militarily at least.
Адекватные, ну, вот, то есть не тронули. Потом объяснили, что, ну, с какой целью я сюда приехал. Они, ну и что ты здесь увидел. От каждого человека, как бы, ну, они слышали мою историю и показывали, что здесь происходит. Ну, не показывали, рассказывали больше, что здесь нет никакого нациста.
The Russian state really sold,
люди здесь,
you know, that idea to their population that they were going to go and save people from
всего этого. Относились к России как к своим
from terrible things that don't happen when they end up here in captivity. They're like,
что здесь уже натворили, никогда,
you know,
братья,
like, what are you doing here?
Что самое характерное, почему-то утюжат самые исторически лояльные к России города, такие как Харьков, например. Исторически лояльный к России город, там действительно большинство населения русскоязычное.
Ну, когда взяли, не со мной разговаривали как бы на русском языке, все,
это,
что...
это не существенно. Вообще, этот вопрос у нас вообще на самом деле никогда не стоял. Я говорю, у вас там выхватывали какие-то эпизоды и показывали там на вашем телевизоре, ваши блогеры вот эти вот, рассказывали вот это все. Акцентировали на этом внимание. Они рассказывали такие вещи, о которых я, живя в Киеве, не знал даже, не подозревал. Мне оттуда звонят из Питера, говорят, слушай, а ты знаешь, что у вас в Киеве бандеровские чтения проводятся? Я говорю, да ты что, серьезно? А что это такое? Ну ничего, сидят там, читают это, труды Бандеры. Ну, 10 человек там собралось и реально что-то там читают. Ну, они увлекаются, да, разбирают.
So yeah, so another thing that comes up as really important is that the east side of Ukraine, which is, of course, you know, I wouldn't say pro-Russian, but they speak Russian all the time. You know, they really like Russia, compared to the west side of Ukraine, which is more European, and will speak Ukrainian and English. You know, they're saying, well, if you look at the cities that have been bombarded, fucking destroyed, they're all on the east side. They all spoke Russian already. Like, this is horrible. You know, you're trying to like assimilate these people. You just destroyed like cities with tens of millions of that people were living in it. You know, like tens of millions. Like, I mean, it's going horribly if you're trying to assimilate that part. You know.
Или вы это раньше знали?
Ну, уже книжки дали почитать, которые с этой стороны, то есть не...
Tragedy, because it's so, you know, improperly executed.
С этой стороны...
На вас давят? На вас оказывают давление? Вас заставляют?
Even if you believe that it's somewhat noble, it's so badly executed.
Да, теперь знакомитесь с тем.
Ну, конечно, интересно с этой стороны узнать.
А как вы думаете, насколько реальным был референдум в Крыму, который там проводился?
Ну, лично как бы я не скажу.
Насколько это можно считать объективным волеизъявлением?
Ну, честно, я как бы не скажу. Был далек от этого. На парашюте мирные строения.
В больницу прилетело.
Anyway, it's just a lot of really cool information, but one of the other great part of his videos is he allows them to call their family.
Я уже обращение.
Окей.
У вас кольцо еще есть, да? У вас кольцо не забрали?
Нет.
And then he starts talking to their family.
Вы в Москве?
Just asking them questions. Like, what do you think he's doing here? What do you think he came to do in Ukraine? And they're like,
ну говорите уже, что?
You know, propaganda stuff. Hitting out propaganda stuff.
Привет.
Что ты как?
Да ничего, нормально. А это кто?
Это брат твой Санек, ты чё?
А, Санек, здорово.
Здорово.
A relief.
А чё вы в Москве-то делаете?
Very real.
Алло.
А почему телефон Латвии высписан?
Да я не знаю. Дали позвонить.
Потому что из Украины поблокировали входящие звонки.
У тебя место сменили?
Что?
Ты там же находишься или место сменили?
Да нет, там же все хорошо.
Из Украины запрещены звонки в Россию. Вы заблокировали.
Ну, нас как просили довести командование до сведения, мы с кем ходим, во все две.
I can tell from listening to other calls that he's already contacted them before. That's why she's asking, why is your other phone off?
И доводим до сведения.
А по поводу того, что в плену или что?
And that's also why they weren't like super emotional the first time they answered, because that always happens. You know, it's the first time they hear about their relative. First time, you know. But a lot of them are super emotional on phone. Not happening right now.
Ничего там выздоровел, нет?
Ну, получше ему немного даже.
Ну, он ветрянкой, да, заболел?
Александр его в поликлинику поведет. Там тебя кормят, нет?
Да здесь относятся, все хорошо, по этому поводу не переживайте. То есть питание горячее.
2 hours ago. Brand new one. Haven't seen it. I'm interested.
Скажите, пожалуйста, в каком городе вы жили? Вообще число, месяц, полностью, фамилия, имя, отчество, число, месяц, год рождения.
Лукошев Шамиль Альбертович, 5 января 1994 года. Живу в городе Моздок, это Северная Осетия. Сейчас нахожусь
A different channel. They have like multiple channels. I don't know if they're getting shut down or what.
в Республике Ингушетия, 503 полк.
Ну, сейчас-то вы находитесь в плену, имеется в виду на тот момент, да, когда... Так, ну, что вы можете нам рассказать про вообще ваш заход в Украину и происходящие события после этого?
Ну, нас отправляли вообще без информации. Изначально я подписал контракт вот недавно, 27 сентября прошлого года. И
Anyway, hey, I go from one to the other.
It was 1983. The nuclear arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union was approaching its peak year. Over 50,000 warheads were in play.
What is this better?
5 times as many as today. And that spring.
Yeah, so today, by the way, up down here, back then.
Our ultimate goal of eliminating the threat posed by strategic nuclear missiles.
President Reagan announced the...
That's an honorable cause, right? The same way we don't want Cuba to have nuclear missiles on it, because it makes it an actual threat, you know? Like right now, there's no nuclear, you know, missiles around the USA or other countries like that.
And that spring.
And they keep it that way, you know?
Of eliminating the threat posed by...
Eliminating the threat, their goal, with having so much, I suppose, missiles, because that's the goal of that mission or whatever.
That spring. Our ultimate goal of eliminating the threat posed by strategic nuclear missiles.
President Reagan announced the U.S. was working on a missile defense
by having so many
program known as Star Wars. And many feared this move would destabilize the standoff. And at this intense moment, the popular scientist Carl Sagan, host of the television show Cosmos, co-authored an article with 4 other scientists on nuclear winter, published in the journal Science. And Sagan rushed to share their findings with the press. According to the theory of nuclear winter, nuclear weapons won't just kill the people who are in harm's way of the blasts, and the people who get sick from radioactive fallout. Nuclear weapons could kill, potentially, all people, wipe out the human race. Because the explosions and the resulting fires would propel enough smoke and ash into the atmosphere to block out the sun, causing cold temperatures, crop failures, and mass starvation.
Wait, that's as much as the asteroid that killed the dinosaur.
I discussed nuclear winter in a documentary.
It's like a lot of energy. I don't know if it's that much.
It depicts that up to 70% of the sun could be blocked in the northern hemisphere. And I said that scientists believe nuclear winter could last months, even years.
When you compare a nuclear explosion to, you know, the size of the state of Texas falling at God speeds towards the earth, right? In terms of energy transferred, you can't even compare, you know? So can it really do that much? You know?
And I believed it. I believed in nuclear winter from as far back as I can remember. I saw movies as a teenager, like Threads, that horrified me and certainly influenced my work. Now, I wasn't alone in believing this, of course. The idea that the bomb gave us the power to bring about our own extinction seems pretty widely accepted. Part of our culture, our identity, which is why it's disorienting for me to learn that the theory is, well, some say it's evolved since 1983, and some argue that the threat was overstated from the beginning. And I've been thinking about it because, honestly, I resisted digging into it after learning the theory was suspect to fact-check my movie, because I wanted people to believe in nuclear winter, perhaps for a similar reason that Carl Sagan was so eager to spread the word. If nuclear explosions will transform the Earth into a dark, cold, uninhabitable place, everyone really loses. The game is all the more unwinnable and all the more foolish to play. And that's why there's a part of me that doesn't want to do what I'm about to do here, but here we go. Let's start by talking about the difference between gases like CO2 that can stay in the atmosphere for thousands of years and aerosols that settle more quickly. Aerosols are tiny particles, both natural and industrial. They include sea salt that blows off oceans, mineral dust that blows off deserts, ash and soot from fires, all sorts of pollutants.
That's a good point. So I don't know if you're really catching the idea here. CO2 is a composite of two elements. You know how small an element is? Like that small. It's super small. Right? When you compare that to a particle, which is actual matter, which is made up of a whole lot of composites in different kinds. Like how much do you need of these? 1 million to make a particle, maybe? 10 million? A trillion? I don't know. And compare that to a particle, this to that, like night and day. And that's why it was falling on the floor. It gets affected by gravity much more than just an atom, right? That's the distinction currently.
They range in size and weight. Now, often you can't see them. Often you can when they're dense, like with smoke, and they can absolutely block the sun. Now, eventually, aerosols settle to the surface because gravity pulls them down. Other forces can send them upwards temporarily. They get pushed up originally by wind, or when the air around them is heated, which makes it rise. Aerosols tend to stay in the atmosphere for about 10 days, but certain particles can go higher and hang longer. One big factor is rain, which carries aerosols down to the surface. Nuclear bombs produce a lot of heat, which propels smoke and ash way up into the air, creating that tall column and mushroom cloud we know so well. Nuclear bombs also create fires that can spread potentially far from the blast zone. And all this fire will produce smoke and ash, blocking the sun in many places. The question is,
that's why one big volcano is more dangerous
before settling, and how serious will the impact be?
Most in terms
we know
of smoke.
from volcanic eruptions and asteroids that aerosols can have long-term serious consequences on the climate. But nuclear explosions are different in some important ways. Mount Pinatubo in 1991 was the biggest eruption of the century in terms of climate impact. It was a monster. And it was recent enough that we have some good data. Volcanoes often spew out gases, notably sulfur dioxide. And Mount Pinatubo injected 15 million tons of it into the atmosphere, which rose all the way up to the stratosphere, where it turned into sulfate aerosols. The stratosphere is above where rain falls, which means aerosols can last much longer. Note that the larger ash aerosols, for the most part, settled. And we can actually see how sulfate aerosols spread around the globe using special satellite imagery. And here's what this did to the Earth's average surface temperature. It dropped as much as 0.3 degrees Celsius, and it lasted years. Now, the dinosaur-killing asteroid is believed to have blocked the sun for a prolonged time, but this event is so different from a nuclear explosion. Nuclear bombs are powerful and all, but the destructive force of this impact is estimated to be 100 billion times larger. 100 billion atomic bombs. The chain of events that follow this impact are so utterly horrifying and uncanny. Kurzgesagt made an amazing video of this.
That's the scale.
Allowed us to show some clips. We're talking earthquakes across the globe of a magnitude unlike anything we've ever seen. Tidal waves submerging half the US. Lava spewing out of the fractured Earth's crust. And vaporized rock erupting from the blast zone, spreading around the Earth in space, and then raining down globally, causing the entire Earth to get as hot as an industrial oven.
That's a fucking event, man, if any, huh? Holy shit. Can you imagine? You're like home watching TV, and then, I don't know, what happens first? shockwave, I suppose. You know, it shakes. You're like, what the fuck? You're at the other end of the world, you know. And maybe the blast you can hear, like, I don't know. It probably goes around the globe. And at some point outside of your window, I suppose you see like meteors fall out or whatever. And that's what really happened, you know, on this planet, right?
Killing most dinosaurs within hours.
40 some million years ago.
Nuclear explosions are really different from big asteroids. And since they don't emit sulfur dioxide the way volcanoes do, for nuclear explosions to cool the Earth in a significant way, the smoke and ash they produce has to rise way up into the stratosphere, above the rainfall. And for that to happen, the nuclear winter theory points to this plume lofting effect, where the sun heats the smoke particles, causing the air around it to warm and then rise. Now, smoke doesn't generally do this, right? It settles. But there is evidence that lofting happens in certain situations, like intense firestorms. A 2017 forest fire in Canada much more
looking for a fucking chart.
That big volcanoes with their sulfur dioxide, compared to the Australia fires, imagination. I'm personally so frightened of nuclear war that I've devoted years to making movies about it. And even after coming to question the nuclear winter theory, I'm still horrified by the bomb. It's still a game where both sides lose. The thing I'm reflecting on here is that after learning that I may have overstated the nuclear winter threat, I didn't feel motivated to set the record straight. Like, what's the benefit of pursuing truth in a case like this? When the takeaway is confusing.
It's good though.
Is the truth reason enough? And that brings us to how this video came to be and the concept of truth decay. Which is probably not a term you've heard before. The RAND Corporation reached out to me to help start a larger conversation about it. They're a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that has been researching a phenomenon they've identified as truth decay, which refers to the diminishing role of facts in American public life. It was important to Rand and me that the ideas I express here are my own. In fact,
I'm just guessing that he's going to come to conclusions that I suspect.
That the Times survey and see it as a tragic, avoidable lie. Climate change and COVID are all very serious, all carry enormous potential for human suffering, but the risks can be overstated. Now, understating a risk is so clearly dangerous and wrong, since disregarding a threat can result in terrible consequences. Overstating a risk, but it's significantly less likely to kill your child than driving cars, guns, or even drowning. The risk of catching it is 48 times higher than the vaccinated.
What are we talking about?
Forson took the door to his left. Forson took the door to his left.
Oh! Oh!
It's closed.
Oh my God.
I thought it was TTS! Like, that's a new one. What the f?
What's up, guys? Streamer TV, and first up in the news, we have XQC and H3H3. Now, over the past week, XQC has come
if I decide to do something, I'll let you know, or you'll see it.
last year.
I'm gonna